Hello and welcome to this last live call of Season 9 of the Mundane to Magical Online Summit series. My name is Louise Matson, and as always, I am truly blessed to be your host. Today I will be closing the summit with this live call and sharing some of the recent transmissions from Source about where we find ourselves individually and collectively. And for those of you who don't know me, I am an intuitive conscious channel. I'm a conduit for energy healing, a shamanic practitioner, way shower, and spiritual guide. And I assist people to connect with their truth and reclaim their power, shifting their lives from disempowerment to standing in their sovereignty. Now, the topic for today's wisdom sharing, which was going to be about seeking for our happy ever after, is now Monadic soul contracts and their place within the collective awakening. As always, please feel free to make comments and ask questions in the chat box or Q&A box, and I will endeavour to answer as many questions as I can. After the sharing, I'm also going to be providing a live channeled guided healing activation. Now, this healing activation will actually be a Monadic soul contract clearing. And as I will discuss in this call, it is really powerful work. And so when it comes to the activation, if you are driving or if you are using heavy machinery, please don't listen to it, don't follow it through, allow yourself to be in the appropriate space to listen to the activation. And as always, the energetic transmission, the activations, they're just as potent. It doesn't matter when you connect into them, whether you're connecting in live or whether you're connecting in on the replay. The energy is the same, the potency is the same. So yeah, don't worry that you're going to be missing out on anything. I'm just going to check the chat. Oh, so the Zoom code added to 55, the date and time 6622, so we get the numbers on board. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, energetically perfect. You've been hearing a lot about bi-wave and tri-wave, how bi-wave is limiting. How bi-wave is limiting. Is that what you're asking me, how the bi-wave is limiting? Well, I mean, I suppose in terms of being by anything is the duality, it's the polarity, and it's not connecting fully into the multidimensionality of the all that we are, and it is that kind of duality shift. But yeah, I'm going to crack on with the topic of Monadic soul contracts. So if you have any questions about those, feel free to ask. So many of you may be aware of the term soul contracts, and these again take many different forms. We've got incarnational soul contracts, past life soul contracts, and Monadic soul contracts. Now, the incarnational soul contracts are the vibrations and energies that our soul came here to master in this lifetime. And they correspond to what we see in the natal astrological charts, the human design charts, the numerological gene key and soul contract profiles. And these are the contracts that the soul agreed to prior to incarnation, that it determined were the soul purpose in this kind of incarnation, in this lifetime. But we also have other soul contracts, such as the past life soul contracts. And these soul contracts are the contracts that are created over time through our many lifetimes. And these are where we have, as powerful creative beings that we are, commanded that something is so. For example, if we've in previous lifetimes stood in our truth and our power and something awful has happened to us or our loved ones or our communities, we may have commanded, I'm never doing that again. I'm never standing in my power, I'm never speaking my truth, I'm never standing up and being seen, which in turn becomes a contract within ourselves that determines our behavior in the next lifetime and the next and so on. Because wherever we have these contracts, these command codes or decrees that we've created or agreed to within previous lifetimes, our divine essence is held within them. We've literally signed them with our lifeblood, with our own divine essence. And therefore, there are these open wormholes between ourselves and And in this now, and those previous points in time and space where these commands, decrees, agreements or promises have been made, and they create structures or scenarios within our energetic matrices, excuse me, in this now. The majority of people on this planet at this time are not living from their pure divine blueprint, but from some form of a distorted blueprint. And those distortions are the codings from these contracts that we've made in previous lifetimes from our previous woundings. So it's within the commands and decrees that we make in each lifetime that travel with us onto the next. And this becomes what we've known as karma. And it affects us in the next lifetime and the next and the next. Now, I can remember in this lifetime saying things like, I'm never doing that again, when things haven't worked out for me. And we tend, when we're in that unconscious state, unconscious of our ability to manifest our reality, to just blurt these things out. But they have a really strong energetic connection, particularly when it's around a pattern of circumstances or experiences that we've originally experienced in previous lifetimes. And these commands and decrees hold a lot of energy. And so that which has happened and that which has been decreed in previous lifetimes plays a massive role and has a major impact in our experience in this lifetime. And the work that I've been doing with clients up until probably a few months ago has been around these soul contracts, these points of original wounding that are still open within this now template and that are determining our automatic responses or creating these repeated scenarios in our lives. Because again, we're here for spiritual growth. We're here to grow and learn and to break free from all of these shackles that we've created within ourselves, because these contracts are that which are creating the scenarios to manifest externally, that those repeating those cycles, those patterns within our lives. So, for example, the roadblocks that we experience that slow us down on our path of spiritual growth or empowerment. So say, for example, in this lifetime, your soul is saying, I want to break free of all of these resistances. I want to be able to live my truth and live authentically. And then in this lifetime, you will be feeling that pull at some point to step out of that which is known and to step into connecting with your truth and going on a spiritual journey to standing in your power. Now, it may be that you were expressing people-pleasing tendencies, or you had distortions about what being of service is to others. And you may have thought that everyone else matters and it doesn't matter about me, or have feelings of resentment about being of service to others. Whatever these distortions that we're holding and that have been playing out within our lives, if you have an incarnational soul contract to break free and to stand in your power, and for example, that would be if you've got 9s in your soul contract profile, then you will automatically be drawn to testing and pushing past those boundaries. But when you do so, you may hit a roadblock. You may create, without knowing it, scenarios that stop you and send you back into behaving in the way that you've been behaving in the past. So in my lifetime, I was constantly doing this, constantly yo-yoing back and forth, having come in knowing exactly who we all are, consciously shutting down all my abilities, shutting down my ability to channel, shutting down my ability to heal at a really early age, and then trying to be like everybody else just to fit in and be loved and feel safe. I went through this process my whole life of my universal self trying to open me back up, and me shutting myself down again because I would be freaking out because it was too scary to stand in my truth. And I created multiple ways due to these past life soul contracts and ultimately the monadic soul contracts to stop me, to block me from moving forward, and to send me back into being the person who fits in with what everybody else is doing. Someone who doesn't step outside the box, doesn't connect to their own truth, and, allows other people to overstep my boundaries. So these kinds of soul contracts are seen by our egos as our survival mechanisms. However, within me and within many of you out there, you're constantly getting this pull. You constantly got this calling, pulling you out of those comfort zones, calling you out of those patterns of behavior, those ways of being. That is the energy of the incarnational soul contract. That pull, that calling is that incarnational soul contract, calling you to break free of these restrictions and limitations that we've imposed upon ourselves because we've signed up to these past life and monadic soul contracts. But the energy of these contracts is really strong because they're still open, because all time is now. It's not linear as our small human self believes, and therefore those points of original wounding are still open, and we still feel them really strongly, which is why they have such power over us, and all the power that they do have over us. And so it takes a very courageous, strong soul to actually persevere. And it takes a lot of determination to break these cycles and to break these contracts and to pull our power back from them. So if you're in this process, if you're here listening to this transmission, give yourself a pat on the back, because it's hard. It's a hard journey to walk, and it takes a lot of courage. It takes strength, and it takes a lot of love for yourself, even though you may not consciously be aware of that, because it's us wanting to return into that state of love, into that state of unity and balance that drives us forth. When I'm working, I see the past life contracts as kind of going horizontally, because the ego makes sense of time in a linear way. I see them on this horizontal plane, but I see the monadic soul contracts going vertically. And this is because we're all connected to the all that is. You know, we're all part of the all that is, and we all stem from the pure source field. We're each of us an individuated aspect of the all that is, a divine spark of creation, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And from that original divine spark, fragmentation occurs. So the original divine spark fragments into 12 subsparks, and each one of those 12 subsparks fragments into another 12 subsparks, and again and again and again, until it begins to look like a family tree. And this monadic tree is, as it were, our soul tribe. It's our soul family. And we've all stemmed from the same original spark of the all that is within this monadic soul group. And therefore, our divine harmonic, our divine frequencies hold a similar pattern. And so these are the people that we bump into during our lives to assist us on our journeys to break free and to grow spiritually. They may not be the most loving people in our lives, however, they can be the people who bring us the most challenge. But these people are also the ones who we're here to assist in growth, because we are part of this monadic soul group. And it's also important to note that not all of our monadic soul group are in incarnation at the same time. I'm just going to have a look, because there's been quite a few comments coming up. So Michaela has said, I've been commanding space and decreeing that I no longer agree to any previous contracts. Is it possible to cancel these contracts as they come to our attention? Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And part of the work that I do is to remove these contracts. But it's allowing yourself to be open to the full releasing and removal of all of the energy, wherever it may lay within your system, wherever it may lay within the multidimensional spectrum of your being, and kind of clearing all of that, because there's loads of imprints everywhere, because we've carried these a long time and they've built up over a long time. And also completely commanding the removal and if you like, the unweaving, the releasing of our divine essence, our energy into the contract. And I'm going to go into to why this work is so powerful in a minute, but it's absolutely possible for us to cancel these contracts. And that is basically the work that I've been doing with clients recently. So Destine's saying right now she could use some info based on what she's experiencing. I'm working on this issue, left side. How do you know your soul contract number? You can get a soul contract reading. It's basically the phonetic spelling of your name. at birth. So again, if you have a non-English name, it is how it's pronounced, it's the vibration of the sound, it's then put into a numerological system, which creates a chart, just as you would create a human design chart, just as you would create an astrological chart. So it's not to do with your birth date or anything like that. It's to do with the pronunciation of your name, because your name is your power. It's what we call ourselves. Our soul chooses our name prior to incarnation, and so it holds those vibrations, it holds those frequencies that we've come here to master. But quite often you will see the compatibility between the different systems. So if you looked at your soul contract reading, it would give a similar set of frequencies to master as the astrological reading, as the human design blueprint, as the Gene Keys profile, because they're each of them, I mean, they all weave together in a beautiful tapestry, but they're each of them an individual way of kind of connecting in with those vibrations. And, you know, they're really powerful. And says, Louise's soul contract readings are so powerful. Thank you. Highly recommend getting one done with her. Thank you, Anne. I would also say that Anne is also a powerful soul contract reader. So that is something that you could explore as well, as and when she's ready to put herself out there. Michaelia says her mother didn't listen to the soul name she chose, which is why she's changed it. I mean, again, everything happens for a reason, and a lot of our healing work is to do with healing and coming to terms with the birth name. For example, my mum's name was supposed to be Anne Patricia, but the grandparents told the vicar to baptize her Patricia Anne. She hated it her whole life, but Anne Patricia and Patricia Anne is her birth name, and for whatever reason there will be the frequencies within that she's come here to master. Now, quite often we can have challenges with our birth name because there's some strong frequencies, there's some powerful frequencies that we've come to master, and we may have a bit of an issue with that. I changed my name, I shortened my name because of that. But it, you know, it's definitely beneficial to look into, even if you're quite a way through your life. It's good to look back on, oh, that's why this happened, that's why that happened, because we're bringing our lessons, we're bringing our challenges in, as well as, you know, the innate gifts that we're also bringing in to support ourselves and the goals that we're here and wanting to achieve in the different phases of our life. So, I mean, it's another beautiful modality to look at if you are looking for kind of more grounding into the mission, the why you're here. But yeah, I mean, back to the monadic soul contracts. So we've looked at the kind of past life soul contracts, and we've looked at the incarnational soul contract, which is the astrological chart, the numerological chart, etc. But those contracts held within the monadic structure, they really do hold great power over us. And it's these contracts that hold us in the patterns of being and that create the biggest blocks, the ones that really put the stoppers on our spiritual growth when we come up against them. And I think that the reason that they're coming into my awareness at this time, and that I'm doing a lot of this work with clients at this time, is because we're ready as a collective to let them go. Because when we're doing this work, and it's the same for any work that we do, our sole focus is on ourselves. For healing, our sole focus is ourselves. We're not here to heal anybody else. Now, some of you, as with myself, are conduits for healing, but we're facilitators, we're conduits to enable those who are unable to connect directly into the pure source field, the all that is, the all that they are, and to receive the messages and guidance for themselves to actually be able to heal. I'm a conduit to enable that process within them. I don't do the healing for them or to them. I can heal myself, and I step forward in readiness to heal, but it's myself that I'm healing. And our only focus is on ourselves. And that's where this idea of being self-centered kind of stems from, that we were talking about with David. When we are centered within ourselves and we are focused on our own personal journey, we're not focused externally. We bring a lot of power to that work. And that's where the juice is. That's where the changes and the major transformations can happen instantaneously as the collective, because the ripple goes out. As we each individually do the work, the ripple goes out. So if I'm focusing on me and bringing myself into that vibration of love, then when I hit that vibration and master it, I'm automatically radiating that frequency out into the field that's then impacting everyone that I come into contact with. And that includes the plants, the animals, the minerals, everything. Because, it's not just about, humanity's ascension, humanity's, increased raising of vibration and coming into their experience and expression of self-love. It's everything on this planetary consciousness. And that is the work that we're here to do within the monadic structure. Any work that I do to release a monadic contract, as with any work that I do to release a past life contract involving other people, if I release myself, then I weaken the structure of that contract, and therefore enable others who are maybe less determined than I am to actually break free of that contract themselves. When we're doing work in the monadic soul contract, it's like taking a leg off a table. You weaken the structure of the contract in its entirety. And when an individual releases themselves from that contract, they release their power from it. They weaken that structure as a whole. And so from a monadic soul contract structure, you can have thousands of souls signed up to that contract, and you can have the whole gamut of the monadic structure signed up to the contract. In which case, if I've taken my power away from that structure, I'm opening that door of opportunity to every other member of that monadic soul group to release themselves. And as with all things, particularly in this energetic field of duality and polarity, I'm shown things on a spectrum, that nothing's ever black and white. There's always these kind of grey scales in between. And as with all things, we are multidimensional beings, and the multidimensional spectrum of the monadic structure, as with the collective structure, is that there will be those at one end of the structure, that's the people who are on this call, myself, other light workers who are actively doing this work, who are aware and ready to release, come what may, never mind the consequences. Those who are ready and willing to stand up and do the work and release themselves from the contracts. And at the other extreme end of the spectrum, there are those people who are completely unaware of themselves as multidimensional beings, who are happily involved in the external matrix of this reality, completely unaware of any of this work. And in the middle, there's a variety of frequencies. It's like that grey area where you'll have some that are aware but not ready for the disturbance within their life experience that this work will create, and going all the way down to those who are just beginning their awakening cycle. But when we start doing this monadic soul contract work, we start releasing ourselves from these powerful contracts. It is such powerful work. Those that are aware but not ready may consciously or unconsciously attack us because of it. And that's something to be aware of. When we're stepping up, we're not just, stepping up to take on board whatever might happen in our, life experience and the changes that we may bring about, but we're stepping up and we're shining our light. And for those who are aware but not ready to do the work, they may not want us to do it. They may consciously or unconsciously attack us or create great resistance within our experience. And it's like a tug of war. Just as much as we're pulling on one side, you'll have them pulling on the other, because they want to maintain the contract. They want to maintain their status quo. They're not ready to experience that which may be. But there's no judgment for anybody, wherever they are on the spectrum, because we've all been there at some point. We've all not been ready at some point on our journey. And that's the kind of the yo-yo effect that we all experience and go through on our own spiritual journey. There's a proportion of ourselves that's ready to make the change, the shift, the jump. It's ready to release everything. And there's the other portion of us that isn't ready. And so we've got that internal struggle within ourselves too at times. And we get to respect that. You know, we get to respect where everybody else is at. We get to respect where we're at, and the different aspects of ourselves where they're at. You know, and allow everybody to be where they are and meet everybody where they are. But within the monadic group, you have that tug of war between those that are aware but not ready, and those that are aware and ready. Because those that are aware and not ready know that the minute we take our energy out of the contract, it's going to weaken the whole contract structure for everyone. It destabilizes the energy of the entire contract. And within the spectrum of aware but not ready, you also have a split between aware and not ready and not wanting to change, and aware but not ready, but they want to change. And this second subgroup are the ones that desire change but are too scared to initiate it. But when the contract's weakened, when it's destabilized, they are the ones that get the opportunity to shift into the, actually, I feel I can do this group. And so again, it's that snowball momentum as it rolls down the hill effect. And the more people that release themselves from and their energy from these contracts, the weaker they get. And it goes down and down until ultimately it will completely unravel for everybody on the spectrum, even those that are completely unconscious to it all. The whole thing will disembody. And those that are completely asleep and unaware of who they are and the fact that there are even these contracts in existence will feel the impact, but they haven't consciously had to do any of the work. It's just dissolved because it cannot hold its structure. So that is where the collective awakening can happen in an instant. You know, when enough people do the work, it sends that ripple out and those structures collapse. And even those that are completely unconscious, they find themselves, they find that it's happened for them too, without consciously having to engage in the work. I'm just going to have a look at some of the comments again. Astaris has said, I think I'm doing. I thought it was my idea. She thought it was your idea to send Shauna to me, and Source created the action. Yeah, I mean, but everything happens for a reason, and everything is perfect and perfect timing, and we're the conduit. We are the conduits for everything that goes on. So again, you know, you followed your intuition, you followed your guidance. It doesn't matter who takes ownership of things. If you're guided to do something, you follow that guidance, it's perfect. You know, and what a gift that you gave the audience to kind of feel into Shauna's energy, for me to be able to connect and to host her work. You know, it's such a beautiful gift when we step into that energy and we work, we're co-creating. And don't forget as well, we are the source field. You know, we are an individuated aspect of the all that is. And so you as your human self received messages and guidance from you as your non-incarnated self. So, you know, it is you. It's all us. That's why I say my universal self guides me or tells me to do this, that, and the other. So Michaelia says, amazing. When I hit that vibration, I see curtains of white light around me. It's so amazing. Nature reacts. People often don't notice, yet I see the changes within them over time. It's very beautiful. It is such, to get those glimpses when you're in alignment with those frequencies and you get those glimpses of the potential of where we're headed, it's amazing. It's absolutely, well, it's mind-blowing, it's heart-opening, it is just truly, truly amazing. And I'll always remember a few years ago now, just out on a walk, and just, it just happened, you know, just being in that space, being completely in flow, being guided as to where to go, what to do, not having any kind of conscious thought, not determining anything for myself. And I suddenly connected into the golden crystalline energy that unites and joins us all beneath the physical surface of the earth. And I felt utterly unified and connected to everything, to every blade of grass, all of the trees around me, everything. It was just the most sublime feeling as well. It wasn't just that I could see, which I could, but I could feel it. And I've had that previously in Colombia when I was working with a shaman in Colombia. And oh my goodness, it's just the most incredible experience. But not something that this physical reality can sustain for any prolonged period. So we get these blips, these pops in and out. But that, for me, that's where we're headed. You know, that's where we're all headed, where we're just living like that. We're just experiencing that sense of unification, unity with everything, with the plants, with the animals, with the trees, with everything, the rocks. That's what I'm looking forward to. And that's kind of the intention that I'm sending out. Stara says she constantly thinks they're ready, but how many levels of resistance? Yeah, I know. And that's that kind of tug of war within yourself. It's that, you know, what percentage of yourself is ready? And that percentage of you that isn't, that backseat driver aspect of you that's kind of, you know, putting the foot on the brake and things like that. Your birth name is 22. You're here to help build and dismantle. Well, 22 as well is completion. So yeah, amazing. Something's got you in a spin on that left side. Well, we're going to do a healing activation in a bit, so hopefully that will get cleared. Linda says, thank you for this perspective in releasing. I've gone so deep into entire collectives like the Divine Feminine or entire race of the people. Thought at first it was way too much. Any suggestions for navigating and finding a more flowing way of not taking it all on? Again, it's around boundaries. We can go deeply into, but it's how do we identify with it? You know, how do we identify? Do we identify as those things? And therefore we are connected and attached, or do we allow ourselves that 10,000 foot view as we're shifting perspective and doing this work? Because we can go into the releasing, but we don't necessarily need to go into it. It's like when I'm in a client session, I mean, I'm able to physically feel what people are experiencing. I'm able to physically transmute what people are experiencing through me, but I know it's not my energy. I know it's not me. And so, you know, I've got that bit of distance to it as well. Yes, I mean, you know, we're going to do a monadic soul contract clearing. In fact, you're going to clear as many monadic soul contracts as you're ready to clear in a bit. So exciting. I'm looking forward to how you get on. So, as I say, this work is extremely powerful to take on board, but it's also an incredible gift. It's an incredible gift to give to the collective, because for those of us who are willing and ready and determined to do this work, and yes, our focus is on ourselves, on our own personal journey, the impact is felt, and the impact happens on the whole of our monadic structure. All of the souls that are connected to these contracts And that can relate to hundreds of thousands of souls in physical incarnation on this planet, which is why we talk about the 100th monkey effect and the ripple effect, and is how we can achieve on an individual level, doing our individual healing and the focus being purely on ourselves, we can achieve the collective awakening. Because when enough of us release ourselves from these contracts, we're releasing everybody. Spirit's just kind of giggling and saying whether they want to or not. Yes, because again, there's going to be some people on the spectrum that are not engaging in this work, wouldn't engage in the work if they knew about it, kind of thing. So how did these contracts come into being? And why would our souls sign up to this form of limitation and restriction that has really dumbed us down and dimmed our light? And to answer that, we have to understand the energetic landscape that we've been incarnating into again and again. And understanding that some of us have deliberately come down to assist in the breaking free and the freeing of the collective consciousness, and have deliberately signed up for this. And we tend not to remember that when we come into incarnation, and we can call that a blessing or a curse at times, but we did. But the rest of the collective consciousness has been trapped. And this is what Spirit has shown me, and it may be different to what other people are saying, but I can only go by what Spirit has shown me. That the collective consciousness has been trapped in this incarnation cycle, this kind of rinse and repeat cycle. Because up until 1987, when the convergence happened, when the shackles were lifted from the energetic plane of existence, it was like there was this artificial dome being held over the incarnation landscape of consciousness. And that meant that when people passed on, when people transitioned and their souls left, they thought that they were returning to the pure source field, but they weren't. They were going up into an artificial holographic white space that they thought to be the pure source field, but it wasn't. It was an artificially created space by those who we can call the dark forces, whatever, they're just words. So that when we transitioned, we came out of this incarnation, we thought we went into the pure source field, but we bounced straight back into incarnation. And this is where karma has been created, because nothing was resolved, and we didn't download everything and come back as a pure blueprint. We just kept hitting that artificial ceiling and bouncing back into incarnation, still holding on to everything, all our woundings, everything. And that's how these past life contracts have still been open and held such power over us. Now, since the process started with the convergence in 1987, and then since 2012, all the shackles have been removed. And that artificial ceiling has been destroyed. So now souls are able to actually ascend. We're able to actually transition fully and go back to the pure source field. And there is no karma anymore. We're not creating karma, as it were. Karma is an instant thing. It will kind of fairly instantly happen in your life that will create the reverse energy of that which we've been putting out. And that's because we're here to learn responsibility, and that within the soul contract reading vibration is the 10-1. With great power comes great responsibility. Archangel Michael energy, it's the masculine aspect of God. It's all about us growing up spiritually. That's what we're here to do. We're here to fully step into our power. And, whereas within the energetic landscape that we find ourselves in, it's all about giving our power away to other entities, giving our power away to teachers, giving our power away to authority figures, to govern the mind. We are learning, we are here to take back our power. And what does that mean? Firming up our boundaries, connecting in with our truth, really being able to stand solidly and say, I govern myself. I don't need anybody to tell me how to think and feel and what to do. I know, because I have that deep innate knowing in what is right, what is in alignment, and what isn't. So we've been incarnating, we've been trying to live in our truth, and it's not gone well, and we've gone back to the pure source field as we thought. We haven't really, and we've hit this ceiling, and we've done that over and over and over again, like Groundhog Day, and it literally becomes soul destroying. It creates frustration and anger and resentment, and it creates the feeling of, yeah, right, I'm a divine creator being. If I'm so powerful and creative, why the hell can't I get back to the pure source field? And this instills a deep sense of disconnect, of frustration, sadness, grief, anger, all of those emotional experiences, because again, we're not going back to the pure source field, we're not going back into unity consciousness, we're still held within this polarized field. And this creates the perfect scenario for us to go, I'm done, forget it. I just want to plug into the matrix, forget about being a powerful creator being, forget standing in my truth and power. I'm just going to plug into the matrix and go along with what everyone else is doing, whatever it takes to survive, to live a happy life. I just want to be happy. I've had enough of the stress and strain of being in my truth. I just want to be happy. And that is what brought our souls to that point of such despair that some created the contracts to stop the natural soul desire for spiritual growth, of coming into oneness, of wholeness and unity, and that created these blocks within the energetic matrix of the incarnated form. And those who, we haven't created every single one of these soul matrix, but some souls have created them, and we've kind of gone, oh yeah, actually, yeah, I'll sign on that one. So there's some which we have been part of the creation of, and that has a really powerful hold because we've coded it in. And there's some that we've agreed to. We've just signed on the dotted line and said, yeah, I'm on board with that. This is created the scenarios within the external realities that then block us and stop us from realizing ourselves as the eternal beings that we are, and holding us in this framework of personality identification construct, the ego. So the desire, the determination to forge ahead and be the all that we are becomes diminished and more diminished. And that's why it takes a really courageous, strong, determined soul to come in and go against all of that. Because you're not just going against that which you're seeing in the external reality, you're going against all of those open wounds, all of those open sores, those open contracts created from the original woundings from past lives. You're going against these extremely strong monadic soul contracts. So I'm just having a look to see about the comments. Thank you. So excited to move through this. Absolutely. This is the time. This is it. We are here. We are ready. Shining as brightly as we can impacts the whole. Absolutely. We've been governed long enough. Absolutely. More than long enough. There's far no further, no more. Yeah. We have the choice now to go back to the pure source field. Yes, we do. So when people transition, which is also why, the children that are coming through now are such bright lights. I mean, we still have to be, our multidimensional spectrum still has to be within the range of the planetary consciousness, the kind of the physical reality, planetary consciousness layers. But because of all this work that we're doing, we're raising that frequency, in which case the ones that are coming in can come in at a much higher vibration, and their spectrum can kind of have jumped up and be pushing the boundaries of the vibrations that feel comfortable. And again, as they come in and they shine their lights brightly, that again raises the lowest vibration of the collective, and which makes all of this work possible. So now the reason that this work is coming up now is because for decades people have been clearing their fields of the external toxicity, setting their boundaries, ensuring their luminescence is as clear as it can be. Then people started working on these past life contracts, gained awareness of the incarnational soul contracts with the astrological natal charts, with human design coming about, gene keys being channeled through, all of those other modalities being channeled through. I mean, the soul contract reading modality was channeled through, I think, in the 80s. So, there came this time for this information to be ready, for us to be ready for this information. So we have this awareness of these incarnational soul contracts that the soul is divined for us to, in this carnation, look at and to start consciously mastering those frequencies and vibrations in their highest forms. And therefore, people have started doing the work. We've begun to do the work on the past life contracts and releasing ourselves from that, so that we come to a place energetically where the external landscape is of a higher frequency. And we can see that, the Schumann resonance was normally between 7 and 9 hertz, didn't go much higher than that. And then in the last, I don't know, seven plus years, and definitely recently, it's been hitting 100 hertz and above regularly, really regularly. And so we've seen this shift energetically in the external landscape. We've seen this shift in the lower vibration planetary consciousness field that the physical reality exists within. And it makes it a bit easier. We've seen the work of the ancestral clearing, the cleansing work, and now it's brought us into this energetic space where we're in a position where we can tackle these monadic soul contracts. It feels doable for those of us who are willing and ready to do that work, to step into that work. And it really is huge and powerful work. And it is service work, but we're not doing it for the service of others. We're doing it for ourselves. We're doing it to clear and release for ourselves. And that is the intent. That is where the focus lies, because the healing journey, as I said before, is within us. We're not healing so that we can be better healers and helpers for anyone else. That is a beautiful byproduct of the work. The focus of the work that we do is within ourselves, for ourselves. And that is the most important differentiation that Spirit wants to kind of share, really. I really can't stress it enough. This is the essential differentiation for us. Any of the work that we do, any of the healing work that we do, the focus is here on us, on ourselves, becoming that clear and perfect channel that we are, mastering the vibrations that we came here to master individually, realigning to our own individuated divine harmonic and radiating that out into the world. And as I said in the call with Maria Fells yesterday, if each and every one of us was able to master coming into that state of self-love and radiating that vibration of unconditional love into the whole landscape, what an astronomical shift that would create beyond our comprehension of what it could be like. So the focus is for ourselves, the healing is for ourselves, the journey is for ourselves, to come into that state of unity and divine unconditional love. And in doing so, we radiate those frequencies out into the wider world. We become a living energetic transmission of those frequencies of peace, joy, unity, love. And that act of radiating those frequencies becomes a walking permission slip, a walking piece of grit in the oyster shell that enables another to become their own pearl, to become their own diamond. And it's what releasing these monadic soul contracts is about. And it's amazing, absolutely amazing to see the transformations in people. It truly is. But it's also beautiful to know that having just stepped up and said yes and done the work for ourselves in this, that we're actually providing that opportunity for those in our monadic soul group along the other spectrums, for those that are not there, not in readiness, not willing, or those who don't even have the awareness to reach those points. So Karen is saying, hi Louise, when we break a monadic soul contract, does it bring up painful issues we need to feel? Yes, it can. It doesn't have to. So again, that kind of percentage within ourselves that is in absolute readiness to just let it go, step up, be the all that we are. That if that is a huge percentage, you don't need to feel to go through the painful process. If there is an aspect of you that going through that process would benefit, would bring deeper engagement, deeper learning, if there is a need within your multidimensional spectrum for that process, then you'll experience it. I mean, I've just gone through a really physical process. I have 21-3 in my chart. I have to do it the hard way. It's programmed into my soul contract. I mean, there are some beautiful aspects of the 21-3, but one of the aspects is, I have to go to the nth degree. I have to do it the hard way. Otherwise, for some reason, I don't feel, I've done the job properly. And so if you have something like that in your chart, then yeah, you're going to feel it to some level. But what I will also say, and what's also coming through, is it doesn't have to be that way. If we're ready to just go, yeah, letting it all go and doing that, yeah, that too can happen. We are in this time of miracles can happen. And the old kind of paradigm, the old kind of, we have to peel the layers off the onion one by one, or we really have to feel it to heal it. It's the old way, and we are stepping into the new, but it's how ready are we to step into new? Are we still holding on to, I need to feel it to heal it? I need to see it to believe it. So again, that's within the narrative of our own journey, but it doesn't have to be. If we are ready to let it go and just give that all up, that's also entirely possible. So this work is the same as when we do the ancestral healing. It's the same as when we do the curse unraveling. If we're doing the work for ourselves, we're releasing everyone else who's attached to it. We're releasing all of the descendants, all of the ancestors that have been connected to this work. And that to me that's beautiful work for me. I mean, that's where it's at for me. I don't need to know them. I don't need to meet them. I just know that the work that I've done for myself is benefiting and has benefited so many other people. And I suppose in a way that's one of the things that keeps me going and keeps us going through the hard times, because it is hard. Let's face it, let's own it. It's hard. And sometimes to maintain this path, it's tiring, it's exhausting being the flag bearer, being the one walking at the front of the line, or being the empath and feeling everybody else's pain as well as our own. And just not being able to kind of seemingly break free of it. It's exhausting for an aware person to exist in this physical landscape. But we're at a point now energetically within the collective spiritual growth for the planet where we're on that final stretch. And sadly, it's often the case where a number of people stumble and fall because they just can't see it. They can't see the finish line. And that's what the soul monadic, the monadic soul contracts are there for, to block us from seeing the finish line. The dark powers that have ruled this energetic landscape want us to give up. They want us to go back and plug in to the matrix. But as you and I know, this journey, you can't go back to sleep. You cannot unknow that which you've known. And that's why we keep going forward without any judgment at all for those people that may check out at the 5 yards line before the finish line, because it's hard. It really is hard sometimes. Karen says she's ready to let go. Fabulous. Yes. Frustrating, but the result is love, says Maria. What is 21-3 in the chart? Most people are unconscious. There were more evolved people years ago. It's lonely at the top. It can be. It can feel very lonely at the top. And that's why it's quite hard, because we do, in a way, we do feel alone. I mean, where I live in Sheffield in the UK, I am surrounded by unconscious sleeping people, completely unaware of who they truly are, completely unaware of the multidimensional landscape that we exist within, and the potentiality that we exist within. But there's reasons why we're in these places. There's reasons why we're dotted around the planet, and that we're not all grouped together. It would be lovely if we were supporting each other and holding space for each other as we go through this. But we're here to shine our lights, and we're here to be that network, that grid that Raven spoke of, and Peter spoke of. And I've seen it, when I've done channeling and meditation, I've been shown, these points of light all over the planet. But we're all connected. We have the gift of the internet. We are connected. We can connect. We're not isolated. We're not alone. And again, Spirit guiding me a couple of years ago, alone is all one. We are all connected, whether we're consciously aware of that or not. Astara says, cried all day Monday, then felt bad about myself for doing it. Old patterns, self-judgment, got to go. Absolutely. Absolutely. To be perfectly honest with you, during this, can't remember if it was this week. No, I think Monday was, I started feeling the pull out of it. Just prior to this, I was in that space, recently going through this period of physical symptoms, that there were points when I was physically exhausted. I had absolutely no energy whatsoever, and no motivation. And I just thought, I can't. I've been doing this for so long. I can't keep going. I've got nothing left in the tank. Quite literally, I've got nothing left in the tank. And, there's been many points in my life where I just wanted to check out. It's just like, beam me up, Scotty. I asked the wind to just blast me into a million pieces and, scatter me across the physical plane. I'd had enough, because it is hard to sustain frequency when it's so dense all around us. But then for me, I surrendered and I dropped into that void space. And the void space, it was where I replenished, I rejuvenated, I received, and I plugged back into source. And although I'm not fully charged up yet, I feel charged up enough to keep going. So yeah, I absolutely hear you. But allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to own that you feel exhausted, that, you've had enough. It's too much, but don't dwell there. Don't wallow in that. Feel it, express it, release it, let it go. Let the energy flow through you. And then you're creating that space for new energy to come in. And like Maria was saying, those old patterns of self-judgment, it's all about loving yourself, because that's violence to yourself. Michaelia says, using Lisa Renee's 12D shield, very helpful. Yeah, there's lots of tools out there, loads of tools that people have channeled, downloaded, for us to use to assist us. It's about contaminating, spreading the light. Contaminating. I'm not sure I'd use that word. Decontaminating and spreading the light, maybe. Yeah, so Maria also says, she was in so much pain, freaked out, but glad, kept working on it. Embrace your pain and let it go. We are all one. And to be perfectly honest, my journey is, I have a lot of 9s in my chart, so it is about standing in my power, and therefore I've allowed myself to experience lots of abuse to get that contrast. But my teaching, my way of working is through the sharing of my experience, because I'm not going to say I'm up here on the pedestal and everything's groovy all the time. And I personally feel that anybody on this planet at this time, no matter what work they're doing, if they're giving that impression 24/7, that's not authentic, because we're all anchored into the physical body, and this physical body is in some way, shape or form anchored into the lower vibrational scale of the planetary consciousness. So it's about being real. For me, it's about being authentic, standing in my integrity, being my truth. And my truth is, some days I'm dealing with stuff, but it's how we deal with it. And it's allowing ourselves to shift our perspective and not wallow in it and get sucked down in it, but kind of hover, like they're showing me a hovercraft, hover over the top and, appreciate the ride. Oh, you meant passing it on to others, the light. Absolutely, yeah. Radiating, passing it on to others. So the message that I thought I was going to be talking about today was about seeking our happy ever after, because that was one of the key aspects of this period of exhaustion, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically for me. And the realization that, like a lot of people, I had been seeking my happy ever after out there at times. We see it in the TV programs, we see it in people's addictions to food and other things. We're looking for happiness in things out there. We're looking for our happy ever after, and we're programmed to look for it outside of ourselves. So again, there's no judgment, but it isn't there. It doesn't exist outside of you. It's about being the happy ever after that you want to see, that you want to experience, and being it in here within yourself, allowing yourself to provide your own happy ever after. And this ties in with what Peter Tong was saying at the beginning of the summit about, being your own twin flame, embodying the energy of your own twin flame, and then you're more likely to see it in the external reality. Because we are divine creative beings. We are creating our reality in each moment. And so if we're searching outside of ourselves for our happy ever after, we're not going to achieve it because it doesn't exist out there. If we go within and create our happy ever after, become our happy ever after, what brings me joy in this moment? What does love look like in this moment? And really focus on being that vibration of love within ourselves, being fulfilled within ourselves, then the external reality will mirror that and may very well create your twin flame in the physical reality, or your perfect living and working situation, or whatever your happy ever after looks like. So that was the message that I thought I was going to be talking about, but it does all tie in together. And I do believe that the Monadic soul contract work is, as it were, the last blocks that are standing in our way. It's, the root of all the other contracts. So I do feel that we're coming up to the finish line. I really do. I do feel very strongly that just like when you see those long distance runners, like on a 10,000 kilometer race, that sounds like a lot to me. So there may be longer races, but you get what I mean, where, they've been going round and round and round. And then this is the final lap. And they come round that last bend and they're absolutely knackered. And you think, there's no way. They've got nothing left in them. They look like they're in pain, they're struggling. And then all of a sudden, because they've seen the finish line, they just go. They fly, they're flowing. And it's suddenly like all of a sudden, all of the pain and exhaustion drops away. And they sprint to the finish line. And they create this enormous gap between them and the person that was literally on their shoulder. And they can do this because they can see the finish line. But that's where we are. We're just coming round that bend. The only difference between us and those runners is we can't see it. We're blind to it. We think, I've got another lap and another lap. And, in this eternal rinse and repeat cycle of another lap, another layer. But we're on that bend. We're hitting that home straight. And I'm also seeing now, Spirit's just showing me, there's crowds cheering us all on. All of those that exist beyond the physical incarnation, all of our guides and our allies, all of our healing teams, all of those aspects of us that exist beyond the incarnated plane. They're on their feet and they're screaming and they're yelling, yeah, go, go, go. But we can't see it and we can't hear it. And sometimes we have to do this work without having that conscious awareness of the audience screaming at us. without seeing the finish line in front of us. And that can be the hardest thing. But if you're here, and if you're listening to this conversation, whether live or in the replay, you have it within you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be receiving this transmission. You wouldn't be ready for it. So take heart and know that you are full of courage, that you are strong enough, that you have the determination, and that you have everything within you that you need. Not just to get us all over the finish line, although the focus is purely on yourself, but to be the happy ever after that you're seeking. Oh, goosebumps. Right, I'm just going to check in on the comments. I'm aware of the time. Karen says, took part in the Share International WESAC today, felt the love and light within myself, so the work of the journey is worth it for those moments within our own happy ever after. Absolutely. Releasing that which is holding us back from happily ever after. Absolutely. So encouraging. We're making a difference. We definitely are. We definitely are. Don't let what you may see on the television or hear on the radio, or, you know, conversations that you hear in the street, bring your frequency down. You know, I get my news from spirit. Basically, I don't watch the news. I don't listen to the radio. I don't connect into that field, because a lot of it is fear-based. A lot of it is very much tied into the control manipulation network that is dissolving but is still in existence. So I get my news, I check in with spirit to see where we're at. So, you know, allow yourself to connect, be that clear channel that you are. Maria says the lunar eclipse helps us to find and release. Absolutely. Sarah says, missed the beginning, please could you explain what is monadic? If that's not too lengthy, go back and listen to the replay. It's basically our family tree structure from the point of which we're individuated, an individuated divine spark of the all that is pure source field, and we fragment into 12. That one of those 12s then fragments into another 12, another 12, another 12, another 12. So we create this kind of like family tree, and it's the soul family that holds a similar frequency. We each of us have our own individuated harmonic, but within that monadic soul group, we will resonate. There will be something that we recognize within that vibrational spectrum. Maria says she's full of courage and standing in true power. Marvelous. Sarah says our soul group. Oh, Anne says to Sarah, our soul group. Absolutely. Right then, are you ready for an activation? Oh, there's some questions in the Q&A. So to get a soul contract, you can look at my website. I provide a soul contract reading. It's done, as I said, on the pronunciation of your birth name. So quite often I ask for people to actually pronounce it, to speak it, to record it, so that I get the nuances of the sound vibrations to provide you with an accurate chart. So you can find that on my website if you feel inclined to do that. Can we look into something from past on the left side of body and see what you sense? Is it similar to what you speak? Yeah, if it's coming up for you, Justine, and it's coming up in this session, it's coming up to be released. And so the activation that we do will be releasing that, because I'm going to be calling in each and every one of your individual healing teams. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not going to do an individual tune in because I'm going to do a group activation, but that group activation is going to incorporate a personal healing for you. Basically, I'm opening up the space, I'm holding the space for everybody who connects into this, whether live or on the replay, and you will receive the the perfect healing for you. So whatever is going on, whatever needs clearing, that will be done. Okay, so right. Okay. Right, okie doke. Wow, there's a huge field. Huge field of energy. Excellent. Right, so I'm now going to do the channeled activation to enable you to release one or multiple monadic soul contracts that you are ready to release in this moment that is blocking you from being the all that you are. Know and trust that you are going to be receiving the perfect healing for you in this moment, that I'm calling in your individual healing teams. So even though the channeled activation may be channeled with regards to the collective perspective, you are receiving it on an individual level. It is your personal healing teams that is coming in to do the perfect healing for you. So if you have something coming up for clearing and releasing, just allow yourself to be in that open state to release everything and anything that is not in alignment with your divine path, your highest and greatest good in this now moment, to be done. And allow yourself to be completely open to release and receive. Okay. So just allowing yourselves to become comfortable in the space that you're in. Allowing your eyes to close and your awareness to drop from your head down into your heart space. And we close our eyes so that we can see more clearly. And as we allow our awareness to drop down from our active mind, containing our thoughts and belief systems, we drop our awareness into our heart space, that space within that holds our eternal flame, our divine light, our true essence. And we connect into that harmonic vibration, that divine signature that we are as an individuated divine spark of the all that is. As we connect into the multidimensional aspect of this incarnated form, holding the awareness not only of our lowest vibrational aspect, frequency, bandwidth, our physical body, but also the non-visible aspects, the multidimensional spectrum that exists beyond the physical, within the physical, and that is connected to the pure source field of divine love and light. So just allowing yourself to connect into your own divine harmonic signature, and allowing whatever messages and guidance are coming through for you at this time, as we call in your healing teams, those highest vibrational beings of divine love and light that you are in the higher dimensions, beyond your incarnated form. And as they enter your space, you may be able to see, sense, feel, or know their presence. But if you are not feeling anything, not sensing anything, that is also perfect. Just know that they are here with you in this space, creating the perfect container of light around your field and the immediate environmental space surrounding you. This container of light is being created out of the pure photonic diamond white light of the pure source field, and is the perfect shape and size for you. This container of light is being filled with divine photonic white light that is clearing and clarifying, realigning and reharmonizing the energies within the immediate environment around your field of light, in alignment with your divine signature. Your divine harmonic. Clearing and releasing all low vibrational energy, all interference and influence from around your field, so that nothing can block or impact upon this healing transmission, and so that you receive the perfect healing for you in this moment. For in connecting into this energetic transmission, an aspect of your multidimensional being is already saying yes to receiving this healing. But you may, in this moment, also wish to just clarify internally that you are ready and willing to receive this transmission and say yes to receiving the utmost healing that you are ready to receive in this now moment. As we proceed into clearing any monadic soul contracts that are ready to be released and cleared in this now. And as the diamond photonic white light rebalances and realigns the energies surrounding your incarnated light body, they begin to flow into and through your energetic boundaries, balancing and aligning, clearing and releasing all lower vibrational energy within your incarnated light body. And for some of you, your healing team is working around the boundaries of your field. They are working to remove any and all energies and implants that are being identified and located within your light body matrix and throughout each of your individual spectrums and bandwidths of light, sound, and vibration that you are. So just allowing the clearing and releasing. And for some of you, there are energetic implants with consciousness, and they are being encased in electric blue-white light and being removed from your field and taken up and out and returned to their most appropriate place. And everything that is being released from your field is being released with love. And that which can be instantly transmuted is being instantly transmuted, and that which just needs to be transmuted within the pure source field is being removed. So just allow this healing work to take place. Allow this clearing and releasing to take place as your healing team is working within your field, providing you with the perfect healing and releasing that you are ready to receive at this time. Torshima Aika at Saint Tanoke at Aname other me at near Turko Amaris Enerke Atari Etana Etara Eonomic Sana Etorushke Amaratsara. He aru Taramana is a root that he can Muntanaya had the San Hitisana. He oro Rumena, they say, oh, Emma, the sea, or the Turkema is Parame, ah, but said it. A number of your healing teams are making their way up through your central column and into the white holographic space, this artificial source field above your incarnated form, this false ceiling, as it were, this false source field, where our souls have travelled to upon death in each previous lifetime, believing ourselves to have returned back to the pure source field of light, only to find ourselves within this artificial holographic space. And for some of you, there are other members of your monadic soul tribe, your soul group, waiting, imploring, trying to stop this process from happening. And for those that this is applicable, your healing team are creating a sacred container within this holographic white space to ensure that no interference, no influence can impact on the work that is being done. As your healing teams call forth any and all monadic soul contracts that are ready to be released, pertaining to any aspect that is blocking you from fully being able to connect into the divine love and light that you are, your divine truth, and that is blocking you from fulfilling your sacred purpose in this incarnation, to embody the all that you are, and to allow yourself to be your fully true and authentic self. As the healing teams are gathering these monadic soul contracts, they are taking different shapes and forms. Some are long scrolls, some are deep tomes, some are single sheets. Some of you have been involved in the wording, the creation of these monadic soul contracts, and with others you have merely signed your name to them, agreeing to abide by their terms. But regardless of whether you have been part of their creation or whether you have merely signed up to their terms and conditions, your energy is about to be removed, released, and disconnected from these contracts. For some of you, I see the healing teams working to unweave, as if unraveling your individual threads of light from these contracts, from the very fabric of these contracts. And these woven threads of light that are the energetic tapestry of manifestation, of creation. And for others, the divine essence is merely being released and drawn out from the signatures. Just allowing this process to unfold beautifully for you. Allowing your field to be open and fluid. Allowing yourself to become liquid light. Maria que yo Maria te nacia todo Maria te se tan Maya ma que yo tersa yo tani te shikaruna nirasa. Ora yana 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 yo kurmasa. Ora mayo neo 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 ne kurmata sai. Oya te shine te shine te shine. It shine shine shine. Otra shine. And as your divine essence, your divine energy is being slowly, gently, carefully removed from these energetic structures, from these rigid matrices of belief and habit of being, that you have determined how you present yourself within the external energetic matrix, how easily or hard you find it to connect to your truth, your light, your love, your power, and your ability to express that in a true and authentic way. And as your energy is being retracted and removed and released from these contracts, your divine essence is pooling into a golden orb, an orb of golden liquid light within the holographic white space. And for those of you who have multiple monadic soul contracts that you are releasing at this time, the orb is getting larger and larger as it expands with your divine essence, being released from the contracts and flowing into this orb. And as this work is being done to remove and release your threads of light, your divine essence, your signatures from these energetic documents, other members of your healing team are working within your multidimensional spectrum to remove, release, and clear the corresponding distortions held within your mental constructs, your beliefs, your emotional layers, the emotional storage of suppressed and repressed energy held within the incarnated light body, and in particular, your physical form. And also removing and releasing any and all aspects of this energy that is flowing through the entirety of your incarnated light body and flowing through the many cords and attachments that you have within the external reality. Attachments to other people, places, situations, energies, and that are continuing to determine your behavior within those environments. The energy is being drawn out as if drawing out poison from your system, and that energy is being removed from your field of light in whatever form it is taking. And where relevant, your healing teams are traveling through the horizontal portals, through and into past life events, into those points of original woundings experienced in previous incarnations, that have provided additional overlays of energetic blocks and have laid the foundations of how you are able to express yourself in this lifetime. And as they neutralize and redivinitize those points in time and space, those points of original wounding, you are thus disconnected, fully and wholly from those past lives, from those active wormholes, actively connecting you to those points in time and space, and maintaining the intensity of the energetic connection and attachment. These are all being collapsed, releasing you fully from their influence. And so it is, and so it is, so shall it be. You may feel and sense within your physical body, within your energetic body, this work being done. Just allow, just be open to allow the full releasing of these monadic soul contracts and all of the counterpart energies and blocks that are playing out within your incarnated light body, allowing the full release of the emotional energy, the full release of the mental constructs and belief systems, the heavy energy of all judgments and criticisms that have automatically kicked in whenever you have tried to step into your power. All of those automatic thoughts and experiences designed to block you, to stop you, and the automatic creation of experiences within the external landscape that pull you up short, allowing all to be let go. Your healing teams are also working in conjunction with your body consciousness, as it is the connection with these contracts to your body consciousness that is creating this turmoil within your energetic field when you try to step beyond the limitations of these contracts. But there's no judgment held within or for your body consciousness, for it is merely doing that which has been programmed to do, that which you have agreed to do. And so the coding held within the body consciousness is being recoded, reseeded, brought back, as it were, to your divine blueprint. That divine blueprint that enables you to be the clear and perfect channel that you are, the divine being of light, sound, and vibration that you are, the divine blueprint that enables your energy to flow freely to you, through you, from you, in a true and authentic expression in relation to your individual divine harmonic structure. That divine blueprint that holds the all that you are and the all that you are here to be, and assists and enables that process of becoming rather than hindering, as it has been through its connections to these monadic soul contracts and agreements. Now, as your healing team are completing the task of releasing your divine essence, your divine threads of light from these monadic soul contracts, each one in turn is then disappearing. And the orb of golden liquid light that is now full of your individuated divine essence is ready to release and pour forth into your incarnated light body, restoring your divine blueprint as the false coding has been removed from your DNA and your divine blueprint structures. And this divine essence will fill those gaps. And wherever you have held alien energy, alien as in not in alignment with your truth, that has now been removed in whatever shape or form that it may have taken. And this golden essence will now fill those spaces, filling you with your own divine light, your own divine truth, your own divine power, and reconnecting you and filling you with the vibration of divine unconditional love, the divine love and light that you are. So as your healing team bring down that golden orb into your central column, allow it to open up and flow back to you restoring you back into your own state of perfection in this now moment. Feel that energy flowing into your light body matrix and flowing to the perfect points within your divine matrix, restoring your natural divine signature back into its original state. For some of you, I'm seeing the energy of the golden essence coming down in a double golden helix, and for others, it's a multiple helix, with the central core helix being the golden essence, and then extending out from that, the multiple helices of rainbow light, aligned specifically to your divine harmonic signature, spiraling down into the very core of your being, down into your heart field, the heart toroidal field, and exploding, expanding out within your incarnated light body. And for others of you, this energy is traveling down, all the way down into your solar plexus, where for some of you, your solar plexus energy is very small and restricted, very dark and rigid, very hard feeling. And as your divine essence flows into this space, it's now able to soften. And as these codes stream in, they're igniting, reigniting the fire within you, filling this area with light and expanding this area. And healing teams are just working within your field of light, just making some tweaks and adjustments to your energetic structures, and doing some work within the very energetic transmission structures within your body of light, so that in those of you whose light body matrices have been starved of energy, or your connection to your truth has been severely blocked or stinted and repressed, this energy can now flow with the utmost ease and grace. Some work is being done around some of your heads, around your ears and the translator receptor sites, within the energetic structures within and around the head, within the throat area. And for many of you, the work is being done at the back of your hearts, opening them up, opening up your ability to receive. But each of you are receiving your own perfect individual healing and restoration into balance and alignment, so that these energies can now flow with the utmost ease and grace. Your healing teams are also working through your central column, all the way down through into the planetary consciousness, and clearing and releasing any blocks that are stopping you from being able to ground your energy, root your energy into the new earth codes, the highest vibrational timelines that the planetary consciousness can hold within the physical plane, releasing any of you that have any attachments, any connections, associations, any roots or grounding cords that are into the lowest vibrational planetary consciousness that is currently being composted, releasing its toxicity, releasing its lower vibrational energies, and busting through those layers of the planetary consciousness, and ensuring that your energies are being grounded into the divine light codes, the highest light codes that can be held within the physical plane. The layers within the physical reality of planetary consciousness that hold the new earth codes, where our intention creates the manifestation of that which we desire to see in the world. This is where the change is made, by connecting and grounding our intent, our actions into these timelines, these light codes. And as the planetary consciousness sheds its lowest layers, these higher vibrational layers move up to the surface, as it were. And we're constantly drawing our rooting system down, allowing our energy to ground into the highest possible timelines in each moment. Again, this is a flowing movement where we're constantly grounding into the highest possible light codes, timelines, energies of the planetary consciousness in the physical field. Now, most of your healing teams are giving me the thumbs up that your work is completing. And for some of you, your healing teams will continue to work within your field, making adjustments, doing those final tweaks for a period of 48 hours beyond this transmission. But there's nothing that you need to do other than allow the work to take place. The majority of this work will take place in those downtime moments where you're either at rest or asleep. But you may find that over the next 24 to 48 hours, that stuff comes up for you, for your conscious awareness. And if that is the case, just allow it to come up and let it go. For we are multidimensional beings. And even though this work is being done at the highest energetic level, we will experience to some extent an awareness of it playing out within the physical. So just allow yourself to be open, allow yourself to maintain that liquid light, and allow yourself to maintain that state of divine neutrality, knowing that energetically you've been released, but that there's just that period of habitual releasing that may take place through our conscious awareness of being able to connect into our truth in each moment and to determine whether something feels in alignment or not in each moment, without judgment, without criticism, and allowing ourselves to embody the changes that we feel that we are ready to take on board at this time. And so as the majority of your healing teams take their step back, we give thanks to them as you allow your awareness to come back into your heart field, allowing your awareness to come back and land upon your breath and the gentle rise and fall of your chest and stomach as you breathe in and breathe out. That physical representation of your eternal connection to the pure source field of divine love and light that you are. Allowing your awareness to come back into your physical body and the space that it's in, feeling the sensations of your muscles as you wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes, and then when you're ready, only when you're ready, allowing your eyes to open, and welcome back. Oh. Wow, how is everybody? Maria says, thank you. From deep within my heart, I saw the diamond being polished. It's shining bright. I'm grateful. Stara says, this is amazing reset. Thank you. Divine blessings to you and all, including me. Anne says that was certainly more than she expected. We're all going to receive that which is absolutely perfect for us. So, you know, if you just received something on a very minimal conscious level, it's absolutely fine. You received it energetically. If you were deep within the process, wonderful. But everything is perfect. Everything is perfect for you in this now moment. And also, you know, with this recording, you can go back in. You can go back in and see what is ready to be cleared. Again, I would leave it for, you know, at least 48 hours because for some of you, the process is continuing. But yeah, just allow yourself to gain that awareness of where you're at, what you're experiencing. Lots of thank yous. Wow, powerful. Had to go and purge. Feels awesome. I have been named and called the spiritual enema. So yeah, purging comes with the territory, unfortunately, or fortunately. I mean, it's one way to massively clear so that you don't have to process it a little bit at a time. So yeah, lots and lots of thank yous. Wow, profound, in such a state of peace and calm. Wonderful, that's marvelous. Just, you know, allow yourself to maintain that, you know, be in that space. Thank you. Yeah, there's quite a bit of purging going on. Crying, burping, other forms of purging, all welcome. Yeah, The light language, yeah, I mean, again, yeah, it comes through sometimes, and just allow it to touch you in whatever way it is. I mean, we don't, the beauty about light language is that we take out the mental mind, we take out the I need to understand what that's all about part of us, and we just allow ourselves to receive. You know, we don't need to analyze it, we don't need to make sense of it, we just allow that beautiful energy to flow through us. Lots and lots of thank yous. It's actually live streaming on YouTube, so it will be immediately available on YouTube. And yes, I do edit it, edit the videos. I put my little jingle at the beginning, and also links to special offers and things at the end, which I'll upload. But the upload takes forever, so I'm really glad that it's live streamed. So yeah, it will be available immediately. And yes, I will take care of myself too. Purity and grace. It's spirit's generosity, and my gift is being the facilitator in the channel, which is, it's my service work, it's my blessing, it's what brings me joy. I'm just aware of the time. So that is the close of season 9 of the Mundane to Magical online summit series. Thank you so much for joining me live, and also in the replay, wherever you join me in time and space. When it's on YouTube, how does that affect the healing transmission? With the summit, I create a container of light surrounding all of the transmissions that come through. So regardless of you know, where you connect into them, whether you connect into them live on the Zoom, or whether you connect into them on YouTube or SoundCloud with the audio replay or the video replay, it doesn't affect the healing transmission. It's there. It's there to be received in whatever way you're ready to receive it. So again, it's going to be there on my YouTube channel as long as YouTube exists, and as long as YouTube deems it allowable to be on there. So feel free to connect into it as many times as you wish. I wasn't going to be doing a special offer just because of where my energy was at, but I'm kind of feeling into doing something around the soul monadic contracts, because that has been what the transmission wanted to be about. So I will probably put something together, whether that is a discounted session price, or I'm also kind of feeling drawn to doing like a 3-part webinar, as I did for Standing in Your Power, kind of going through and maybe looking at some specific monadic soul contracts that many of us as light workers, as people who are the forerunners on this spiritual path, may have within our fields. But you know, if I may offer both, you know, a discounted session to kind of go into some more that you're ready to release on a more personal, individual level, but also watch this space for the webinar series as well. So I'm just tuning into that because I got that when I was on my walk before I came online. So again, yes, this is the close. I'm closing down the container. It is a sealed container, so these recordings will be held within that space and kept pure and clear. But yeah, for now, this is it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I have, sharing the beautiful speakers that have been on with us this season. If you have any recommendations for any speakers that you would like for me to connect with, or you have anybody that you want to kind of connect with me or recommend, then please feel free to drop me an email at support@mundanetomagicalliving.com. As always, the replays will be available on audio with the email that goes out straight after this, and the live stream is going to be available immediately after this call has ended. And as I say, I'll get the edited versions uploaded as soon as possible. So yeah, so much love from my heart to yours for joining me this season. Go well, go steady, traverse through these eclipse energies with the utmost ease and grace. That is my intention for you all. And I look forward to joining you and for you joining me on the next season. Can't believe it, season 10, which will be later on in the year. I'm kind of feeling into kind of October, November time. But I haven't been given the exact date by Spirit yet. So again, I will send out an email to my mailing list, and I'll also update the website as well, to let you know when the new dates are. And I will be contacting speakers for that as soon as I complete this. So take care, everybody. So much love, so much joy, moving forward into these crazy times, exciting times, amazing times. But we are courageous enough, determined enough, and ready to be here and meet the work that is coming up for us to meet. So just believe in yourself and know we are on that final bend. We are on the final stretch. Some of you may be getting a feel for the finish line. Some of you may not be able to see it at all, but know within your hearts it's there, and we're getting close. Okay, so much love to you. Take care. Bye.